Oh, here we are again now, and it's like no time has passed. Gazing out upon the sunset as it sinks into the night. Many times it seemed as though a given day might be our last. Face to face with certain death, it's somehow coming out alright. I don't think that we have any cause to lament, but there's quite a lot of thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent.
So yeah, you head out and you make your way to the trap. This collection of these almost like golden vines, and it's funny. This trap is still unsprung. It's completely fine.
Ugh, what a waste. It was such a good one, too.
It's a really good one.
Harlock is now carrying around Marcus's dad.
Why?
I don't think this is a waste at all, dear. Because even though it hasn't sprung yet, that just means that, knock on wood over here. I'm not going near that tree.
Strangling wood. Don't knock on strangling wood. Knock on normal, non-strangling wood.
Yes. It'll keep my family safe in case something does happen to make its way back here.
If anything can make its way through all the strangle trees, then this will come in handy.
It's like my contribution to the prosperity of your family.
And I appreciate that, dear. It's probably quite obvious how important they are to me, even ignoring my oath. It is quite literally what I live for. So,
I hope to one day understand that.
You might have a better understanding than you realize. And she kind of looks over at Gregor and Marcus very briefly, but lingers more on Gregor for a bit. Well, are you ready?
Yes, I think it's time for us to go, and we'll make sure that we get you back to this place at approximately the same temperature.
What on earth? What does that mean? Is that a threat? Are you?
Take it for what you will.
You all head out into the great country of Tannhauser.
Holy shit.
Your party travels for actually quite some time. A day comes and goes, and you don't hear that bell toll again. It's nice. There's almost a certain serene quiet that spreads out over the landscape. You stop by a nearby village and actually move in. You see sort of the effects of this angel attack firsthand. The land is certainly suffering, and you decide to actually lend it a little bit of help. You take some time chopping wood, gathering water, making sure that they're all stocked for the night. A settlement so small probably shouldn't draw attention anymore. Unfortunately, its numbers have been thinned by previous attacks. You pass the afternoon doing so, and eventually, you and your company find your way up to the nearby hill. This large windmill overlooking the settlement as a whole. As thanks, you've not only been resupplied, but you've also been given a little lunch to eat up here before you head out for real. You could probably make a little bit more headway before camping for the night proper, before heading off further to the mountains.
Oh, well, I know it took a little bit of time from us in making our way to, the fortress, but I think that was a good thing to do. Just because, I mean, look at this nice little sandwich we've got.
Yeah, it was a good exchange. I got to slice up trees and get food.
And now they have fuel for their fires and, can actually look at, the way I see it, we're doing all of this for the good of the people of Tannhauser to begin with, so why bother just neglecting somebody in need if we come across them when that's our ultimate objective?
Of course, equivalent exchange. An afternoon of labor for a sandwich.
Also, yes, yeah. You confused me for a second there, but I'm with you now, actually. Exactly.
Maybe we should have gotten some horses or something.
Oh.
I just assumed that Marcus knew those people like they were his cousins or something. That's why we were helping. That's the only way I could justify wasting an hour.
That's not how this works.
You're not related to everyone here in Tannhauser?
No.
No.
Are you related to everybody in Freark?
No, they're all dead.
Okay, you know what I meant, though.
Isn't that where Meadshire is? Does that mean the amusement park is just empty and full of dead people? Because that's not great.
No, Meadshire is not in Freark. However, it is empty.
I am pretty positive that everybody working at Meadshire is part of the same horrifically inbred family, though. Except for Thog. He's
Who's
cool.
Thog? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
No, I think you mentioned him once before. He's the fellow that just kind of waves around a gun, yeah?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
And
you've got to
also,
meet him. You wouldn't get along
He's great.
at all.
I think you'd like him.
The duality of man.
All right. Based on what you told me, and the fact that you both instinctually said, I would like and also dislike this man, Harlock, you are my tiebreaker.
I think it could go either way.
Wow, that's unhelpful.
You had so much power and you threw it away. Either way, I'll meet the man at some point and learn for myself. He sounds like a real go-getter. I'm optimistic.
He goes and gets.
I didn't want to sway your opinion.
Yeah, he can be a bit of a hangry hedgehog sometimes, but don't let that fool you. He's like nice and soft on the inside, and he cares about people very much.
I love hedgehogs. They are such charming little creatures because they are absolutely adorable, but then they have developed barricades around their own body.
Yes, barricades that prevent them from getting close to one another.
Yeah, this guy's got barricades like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I'd like him.
Then it's settled.
You all take a nice afternoon just prepping, eating your sandwiches, and you head out again, crossing more and more of Tannhauser. You travel for an additional day. Those mountains off in the distance, which honestly seemed like another part of the featureless green landscape, start to creep up a little bit more. You start to see snow-capped peaks, and you start to realize exactly how large this mountain range must be. You start to close in the distance, and as you do, Harlock, you find yourself thinking, I want to know what Harlock's thinking about. So far, this trip to Tannhauser's been an abrupt one. Flung across dimensions, Marcus wound up here, but you guys had to be on a boat. You spent some time watching over Gregor. You ran into alchemical mystery after alchemical mystery, culminating in perhaps the alchemical mystery of your lifetime, Math 2. It's been a multitude of new experiences, including something that you thought you had left behind. You've been sleeping. Sometimes, like when you feel adequately safe, which admittedly in the woods is not very often, but in that, you got a good night's sleep.
Back to back with Mercy.
So, what is going on in Harlock's brain?
So she's actually less thinking about kind of all the exciting things like Math 2 and Angels that are happening like in the immediate. And the snow-capped mountains actually kind of catch her eyes because it actually reminds her of home.
Oh, nice.
So she kind of finds herself thinking about home, and then she kind of finds herself thinking about how literally far she's come from Freark, and then how kind of emotionally far she's come in that she now takes naps. And she's relinquished some control in that she's out here in the woods with effectively one arm. She can't see, she can't hear because she let Homunculus go and be with Inian. So she's actually letting control of the wheel go to somebody else. And she's not sure if she likes it yet, but she's thinking about it still.
Fantastic. That you managed to drive yourself further and further towards that big old mountain. It's like, it's such a, like, it seems like a faraway thing, but as the days roll by, you find yourself closer and closer. Now you almost seem to be in the shadow of it. If the bell rang, you might actually be out of range of hearing it at this point. And a little bit at a time, that thought starts to drift away from you. You see fewer and fewer ravaged farmlands, fewer and fewer destroyed areas, and the wilderness resumes. This area of Tannhauser was considered widely uninhabitable, but right now it might actually be one of the superior refuges of life. You enter sort of like a hinterland area. It starts to feel a bit colder, and Mercy's radiant warmth serves an even greater purpose in keeping your group not only motivated metaphorically, but motivated physically. That warm water, Gregor, really hits home. You're metabolizing like a champ. Speaking of which, Gregor, you've had a weird one as well. Ever since the split back in Freeark, ever since Ash vanished, and ever since you came to this place, you've been working yourself pretty hard. At the same time, you've heard a lot from the people around you, and you feel like you understand yourself better. I say that more in a physical sense, because emotionally, I got no idea what's going on, but physically, that bread explanation, it made a few things click. You've been practicing on and off with the bread vision. You've been trying to hone into it more and more. It hurts your brain, but so does baking bread. Gregor, tell me what's going on in your head.
Yeah, so Gregor has been really pushing himself. Because for a long time he didn't really have anything he could do to locate Ash or Marcus. He kind of just had to rely on other people. So he was feeling pretty useless for a while, but now that they're together again, he's excited that he can do something. He has a purpose now. He can protect his friends. But it's a little strange that the anxiety that he was feeling about losing his friends and not being able to find them, a lot of it went away when he got here and he reunited with Marcus, but some of it stuck around, and he's not really sure why. He's got this feeling inside of sort of close to loneliness. He's missing something or on the verge of missing something. He doesn't feel very secure.
And with that, resting heavy on your mind, you watch the sun dip down behind the mountain. You can make it all the way there if you really, really try. So you do. You press on. Over the course of the afternoon, you drive yourselves forward, and you make it to the foot of this great mountain. The trees give way, the rocks begin, everything dies in the area around, and you wonder, why would they build a mountain fortress here? But, Marcus, as you get closer, you start to notice...
They're going to build a mountain fortress in a swamp?
That's fair enough.
Be a swamp fortress.
Listen, there are far more hospitable mountains in Tannhauser. Marcus can point you to them. There's far nicer mountains. This is a crap
like
mountain
Swamp
up north.
Mountain to the west.
Oh yeah, it looks like
Swamp
it's got
Mountain's
a smiley
nice.
face on it.
It does. It has an appealing smiley skull in it. Like, who wouldn't want a skull mountain fort? But you come up and you finally make it to the end of this hinterland as all the greenery finally dies down and it's just you and the unforgiving rock. Marcus, you make your way there and you get this growing feeling in your chest. What's up ahead of you in that fortress is the remnants of Tannhauser's military, really, to a certain extent, what seems to be one of the focal points of Tannhauser society. You didn't go see the merchantry, which would have been the more common end of the social spectrum. Instead, you're going straight to the people that you were forced to sort of like rub elbows with during your entire childhood. You're literally confronting the most uncomfortable part of your past. You're looking it dead in the face. This is the nobility. This is the military. This is the people who were at the top that you would have been a servant to, more or less. So as you get closer, you start to sort of feel that legacy weighing on you a little bit more and more. And your trip back to Tannhauser was just about as disorienting as your arrival. You smacked down in this place, you hit the dirt, you've been running around like crazy. You met an old mentor, but they seemed tired and distracted, and you know you can rely on them, but at the same time, they're not here to help you now. So it's just you versus your past, your closest friends around you. How are you feeling?
Oh man, so much stuff. One, why did we ever start to do walking as a thing? Walking places is the worst. I hate this. My feet hate this too. You know, I think Marcus is really just kind of reminiscing a lot about all of the familiar landscape around him and the time that he spent here in his childhood. How completely stuck he felt here. And how desperately he wanted to get out and eventually did get out. Only now for fate to just kind of drag him casually back into it, without having any say in the matter whatsoever himself. So he's bitter about part of that, I think, but also I think he's been a little surprised at just like how deeply concerned he has felt for like the well-being of the people who live here and for the country as a whole. It's been really earnestly concerning him. Right. He wants this place to be okay, even if he did not have the best time growing up here. And what's more, having this cardboard cutout of his dad around all the time has been great. Super wonderful. Really unexpected, but surprisingly delightful.
I will continue to carry this cross for you.
Unexpectedly very flammable. But at the same time, he's been getting a little more and more concerned about where his dad might be and whether or not he's okay. They might have some pretty substantial differences of opinion and two very different courses in life, but you know, he loves the guy and he wants him to be okay. And he's starting to think that maybe some awkward conversation would be a reasonable price to pay just to make sure that his father was okay.
Oh, you think that as you head towards the mountain. Finally, the sun disappears down behind it and night assumes its full and rightful place. You press
and Marcus is... Sorry.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Marcus is also thinking about what he wants to write for the prologue to Faria's book and is trying to decide if alchematize is a word or not.
Yeah, fuck that fortress shit. You're like, damn. That's pretty imposing. That's a lot of stuff I'm going to be facing. Sun's going down, huh? Pop open a book, look on the inside. Wonder if alchematize is a word. You start to quietly write your dark vision punching straight through all of this. Despite everything that's going on right now, and despite this big, overarching, weighty national plot, you're still Marcus Valafi. And goddamn, you're going to write a prologue for this smut.
It's going to be the classiest prologue for a piece of smut that has ever existed. I'm confident in saying that.